If you guys have been here over the past few weeks, you would know that I haven't spoken in JV in a long time, and I am continuing that trend this morning. I have one of my favorite leaders in JV speaking this morning. You guys are going to love her. She has been around since like day one. You guys have seen her around, although you might not have heard her necessarily talk before. She's very quiet. But behind that quietness, man, she is loaded with wisdom. So can we do me a favor this morning? Can we do me a favor? Let's stand up on our seats, everybody up on top of your seats, and can we give it up for our speaker this morning, the one and only Mackenzie Huey. All right. Now, Mackenzie, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you 3 questions, and then I'm gonna pass you the mic, okay? And then if you guys don't know Mackenzie, this will give you guys a little bit of an intro to who Mackenzie is. Mackenzie, can you tell us, 1, what is your favorite food? 2, I heard that you're going somewhere this summer, so tell us a little bit about that. And then 3, what is your favorite hobby?
My favorite food is kettle corn by Skinny Pop. I don't know if you've had that. But where I'm going this summer, I am going on a missions trip to the Dominican Republic in July. Yeah, I'm excited. And hobby. I don't really have a hobby, but I really like chapstick. I use it I can't really go more than an hour without it. So. Can you give us one more time for Mackenzie? Okay, so I'm Mackenzie, as Rich said. You might have seen me around, or you might know me from a camp or a lock-in or something. Or you might have seen me around and thought that I was in middle school. A lot of people tend to think that I'm in middle school, but I'm actually in college. One time someone asked me if I was in 5th grade. I don't really think I look that young, but I guess it's up to you guys how old you think I look. But just a disclaimer, I have a very shaky voice sometimes, so if it sounds like I'm about to start crying or something, I promise I'm not going to just burst into tears. I'm not sad, it's just my voice. So if you're newer to JV, or maybe you haven't been here in a little bit, but we have a code here in JV, and it's we do honor, we do fun, we love first, and we welcome home, and we are the United JV. So throughout the month of June, we've just been kind of going over a different part of the code every week. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about honor. So I'm going to start off with a little verse today for you guys. Well, it's not a little verse. It's kind of long, but if we can put that on the screen. So Isaiah 11:6-9 says, "Then wolves will lie at peace with lambs, and leopards will lie down in peace with young goats. Calves, lions, and bulls will lie together in peace. A little child will lead them. Bears and cattle will eat together in peace, and all their young will lie down together and will not hurt each other. Lions will eat hay like cattle. Even snakes will not hurt people. Babies will be able to play near a cobra's hole and put their hands into the nest of a poisonous snake. People will stop hurting each other. People on my holy mountain will not want to destroy things because they will know the Lord. The world will be full of knowledge about him, like the sea is full of water." So we're going to go back to that verse in a little bit, and it'll make sense here later. So I'm going to be talking about honor today, and I wanted to find a definition because sometimes, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I tend to not always know what words exactly mean, so a lot of the times I pretend to know what they mean. But I wanted to really understand what this meant, because obviously that's what I'm talking about. So to honor means to put value on something, and we're going to be talking about how we honor people. So we could say to put value on people, and that means caring about people's feelings and their opinions and just everything, just caring about people. So when I found that definition, it kind of reminded me of when I was around your guys' age in elementary school. I was very shy and quiet. I'm still pretty quiet, but back then it was extreme. So I was very shy, I didn't really talk to a lot of people. And at school, I probably had 2 friends. And so when my 2 friends weren't at school, or like if they were with their other friends or something like that. I was the girl that was always at recess or at lunch or wherever I was kind of just always by myself, like I'll just walk around by myself or just like find somewhere to sit. And I always felt pretty lonely. I don't know if any of you have ever felt like that, but that was me when I was younger. And so when someone finally would like come up and talk to me or like show some kind of interest in me, it really made me feel special, and it made me feel like someone actually cares about me, and it really just felt good to me, and it made me feel valued, like how we're talking about valuing people. It made me feel valued when someone actually wanted to talk to me. And I was thinking about this, and I think one thing that every single human has in common is that we all want to be valued. We all have like so many different interests, and we all look different and sound different, but really, like, we all just want to know that somebody cares about us. We all have that in common. And I think that, unfortunately, we can all probably think of a time when that wasn't the case and we didn't feel like anybody really cared about us. You've probably, maybe sometime you were doing like a group project at school or something, and you thought you had like this really, really good idea, and you were like, yeah, we should totally do this. And then you tell your group, and they're like, no, that's kind of stupid. And you're like, oh, okay, never mind then. Or maybe you were like me when I was younger, and you kind of find yourself like at a birthday party or at recess or lunch or something, and you're just by yourself, and you feel like nobody really wants to talk to you, and you kind of just feel like nobody notices you. Or maybe someone's actually bullied you before and called you mean names and just like made fun of you. And those things don't feel good. And I think that's why it's so important that we honor other people and we value other people, because really, like, our mission on earth is just to like show people the love of God and show people how much he cares about us, like, individually. And when we're not honoring people, we're making them feel those things that we felt when someone hurt our feelings, no matter like how they did it. And we're not really showing people God's love in that way. So that's why it's so important that we honor people and show them like the same respect that we would want them to show us. You've all probably heard someone in your life say, like, I only respect people who respect me. Or in this case, we can say, I only honor people who honor me. And a lot of people say that because when someone hurts them or like does something that kind of disrespects them, they're like, well, I give up on that person. Like, I'm not going to choose to honor them anymore. But really, that's like the total opposite of what God tells us to do in the Bible. And in Matthew 7:12, it says, do for others what you would want them to do for you. This is the meaning of the law of Moses and the teaching of the prophets. And you probably heard that before as like the golden rule in school or by your parents or something, but that's actually not something that someone just made up. It's actually in the Bible. And what God is saying here is he just wants us to honor everyone. Like, even if someone's hurt you before, or maybe someone is like a different skin color than you, or maybe a different gender or something like that. It doesn't matter like what people's differences are. It doesn't matter if someone's hurt you in the past. God's still calling us to honor everyone and treat everyone how we would want them to treat us. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, and that's us showing people God's love. And it sounds like when we put it like in the terms of the golden rule, it kind of sounds like, oh, that's easy to just be nice to people, not that big of a deal. But it's sometimes it's really not that easy, because you're gonna come across people that sometimes aren't that hard to, or aren't that easy to get along with, and like people that you don't really click with. So that's why it's so important to be practicing honor every single day and honoring everyone around you all the time, because then when you do come into those situations and there's people that you don't really want to honor, then you know how. So we can kind of be prepared in those situations. I wrote down like 3 little keys to honoring for you guys. So number 1 is to live opposite. And what I mean by that is you see so much dishonor in the world, like whether it's at school or at home or something, you probably see a lot of people gossiping or making fun of other people or bullying, but God is calling us to live opposite of what other people are doing in the world. So we're supposed to be the ones that stick up for people and who say, that's really not nice, you shouldn't be doing that. And we're supposed to be the ones that honor people. And number 2 is live on purpose. That means just looking for opportunities every day to honor people, even when you don't really feel like it. So let's say there's this girl in your class and she has on like a really pretty dress, and you've never really talked to her before, but you really think her dress is like pretty. So you can compliment her because that's gonna make her feel really good and valued. Maybe not the boys, but if you see someone wearing something you like, that's a boy. But maybe sometimes like everybody has those days where they don't really feel good about themselves and you're like, my hair doesn't look very good today, I don't like my outfit. Maybe she's having one of those days. And just by you saying, hey, you look really nice today, is going to make her feel really valued, and it's just going to change her whole mood and her whole day. So it's things like that, just like looking for opportunities to honor people instead of just letting them come along. And number 3 is live out of the way. That kind of sounds like it doesn't really make sense at first, but sometimes honoring people requires doing things that takes stepping out of your comfort zone or doing things that aren't very convenient for you. And so to illustrate this, I have this little Fortnite picture. So I don't play Fortnite. I know a lot of you do, but I watch people play it, so I know pretty much what's going on. Tilted hashtag Danny. So this is, if you're not familiar with Fortnite, this is the Fortnite map. And basically, when you're playing Fortnite, you're trying to just be like the last person standing. You just want to win the game. But while you're doing that, there's a storm. That's what this purple is. And if you get caught in this storm, it starts to damage your health and you could die in the storm. So you kind of want to stay in this little circle here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a circle. And that's where you're safe. Like, you know the storm's not going to get you. Like, you're fine there. But in the game, there's stuff called loot. And you can get like jetpacks or different guns or like bombs or whatever. And sometimes it's like really valuable and like, yeah. So let's say you're over here in Fatal Fields. You're like right inside the storm and you're safe there. You know that the storm's like not about to get you or anything. Like, you know that you're okay. But let's say like over here in Loot Lake, you know that there's some really cool stuff there. You're like, I can probably get a jetpack if I go over there or something. But you're safe over here, and you're like, no, I don't really know if it's worth it to go out of the storm like that. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I really think that there's some cool stuff over there. Like, maybe I should go try it out. So sometimes you have to go way out of your way. Like, that's pretty far away, and you might get caught in the storm if you go there. But like, you really want what's over there. It's really valuable. And I think that's kind of how it is in life sometimes, because sometimes like we feel safe in our little bubble that we've made. And maybe like one day you're at lunch at school and you're sitting with your friends and you really like where you're sitting, but every day you see this one kid that's kind of sitting by themselves over there, and like they don't really have any friends, and like they never have anyone to sit with. And every day you're kind of like, maybe I should like invite them to sit with me or something, but you don't really want to, because again, you're safe where you're sitting and you like it, you like your friends, and you don't like want to be made fun of or anything. So every day like you kind of have it in the back of your mind, like, I think that person probably needs a friend, but you're like, I'm safe here, I'm not going to do that. But every day you just keep like thinking, like, maybe I should talk to that person. So someday, like if you want to honor that person and you think that person is valuable and you know that God values that person and cares about their feelings, like, you're going to have to sometimes step out of this little bubble and come over here to this person. And you know you're safe over there. You don't know if you're safe over here. This person, maybe they're going to reject you, or maybe someone's going to make fun of you, or whatever you're scared of. But this person's not going to know that God loves them and values them and honors them until you show them that you honor them and value them. And so even if they reject you, or, maybe they like sitting by themselves, who knows? But even if that happens, they're going to know that there's somebody out there that really values them and cares about how they're feeling and wants them and notices them. And when you show people that you care about them, then it really, shows them the love of God, and it shows them that there's a God up there that cares about them. So just remembering these 3 points, live opposite, live on purpose, and live out of the way. By doing that, it's going to make it so much easier to honor people that you don't want to honor sometimes. If you just practice those every day and think about them and write them down, then when you come into situations where you should be honoring, but you don't really want to, it's really going to help you out. So I want to leave you guys with this verse that we talked about at the beginning. And it'll all kind of come together, hopefully. So, then wolves will live at peace with lambs, and leopards will lie down in peace with young goats. Calves, lions, and bulls will live together in peace. A little child will lead them. Bears and cattle will eat together in peace, and their young will lie down together and will not hurt each other. Lions will eat hay like cattle. Even snakes will not hurt people. Babies will be able to play near a cobra's hole and put their hands into the nest of a poisonous snake. People will stop hurting each other. People on my holy mountain will not want to destroy things because they will know the Lord. The world will be full of knowledge about him, and the sea, like the sea is full of water. So when we're looking at that verse, it's kind of rare that you would see those kinds of animals live in peace together and kind of hang out. And the band can come back up too. But here God says that it's possible. And I think that when we follow these 3 points and we're honoring people, we can really make that come to life and make it possible. Like how it says the baby is going to play with a cobra. You don't ever see that. When someone has a baby, they never just say, oh, I'm going to get a cobra and have them play together. That doesn't make sense. But when we honor people, we can really make it so that we all live in community. And these animals, they're all so different, and you don't think they should be able to coexist. And there's so many times when you're so different than someone, and the world tells you you shouldn't be able to fit in with that person. You're not like them, so don't talk to them. But God just desires for us to live in community and to honor everyone alike. It doesn't matter your differences. And so just, I guess my encouragement to you guys is just as we're worshiping and as you're going throughout the rest of your day, just ask God to cause you to remember people that maybe you haven't been so honoring to. And maybe there's someone that you need to say sorry to, or maybe there's someone that you just need to start being a little nicer to. Or maybe God just wants you to start being a little more honoring in general to the people around you. So just keep that in mind throughout your day and your week, and just kind of think about this stuff and kind of evaluate yourself, I guess, and just let God move on your heart. So.